Do you tag your big high lines with fishing line? How strong does your fishing line need to be in order to do your tagging? Check it out on this episode of How Not to Highline. Hi, I'm Ryan Jinks and welcome to my gear room. Today we're testing two different kinds of fishing line because I bought this 200-pound test fishing line that's 0.75 millimeters in diameter. And I bought 1,000 meters of it because I want to rig a kilometer. But that's not how fishing line works. My drone struggled to lift this up because even though it looks small on the camera, it's pretty thick. And it also filled up my really big fancy reel, also pretty quick. So I don't even think I have a full 300 meters on my fishing reel. However, this is 1,000 meters of fishing line, and it's only 0.4 millimeters versus 0.75, which that little bit obviously adds a difference. So this is only 60-pound test. So let's slack snap these to find out how strong they really are, the RBS, the realistic breaking strength, and then we'll find out how strong we actually pull on our fishing line when we tag. So we did frost knots on all of our tests because I need to clip a carabiner to the loop, and I don't really want to use any fishing knots because they all cinch down and I want to be able to clip and unclip. 40 pounds of force, which is more than half. So we did frost knots and we were able to get 34 and 40 pounds of force on our 60 pound of force fishing line. So a little bit more than half, which is pretty predictable, but that's not very much. And on our 200-pound fishing line, we got 92 and 96 pounds of force.
Wow, that's a weird sounding winch, Kyle. Wow, 200-pound fishing line.
So just under half, which is actually shocking that we got quite a difference between them testing pretty much in the same exact way. This is interesting because I would expect this to break at a lower percentage because the thinner stuff would cut through itself, but it didn't. Anyways, it's about 50%. So let's go find out how much force we actually put on a line, because if we can't even achieve 96 pounds of force, then why are we having to pay for and spool and drone this big of a line?
So we are going to test our fishing line with how much force we can even physically put on the line. And we have a fisherman over there ready to reel our big one in. He's pulling as hard as he can. Like, he can't put on more than that.
Unless, this is what we do when we pull in a fish.
Yeah.
You put your thumb right here.
Yeah.
And then you pull.
But you can...
just a little bit more.
Yeah, but you can't pull more than that.
No.
Yeah, like you can only do so much. So pull as hard as you can.
With my thumb on.
With your thumb on. Oh, yeah. You went from 34 to 42.
Cool. I can try it one more time.
Yeah, give it one more. Yeah, 44, 46, 48. But that's the most you're ever going to get from that. So okay, so I'm pulling as hard as I can. What I did at CRG is I went like this, and I was able to pull the tag line. You can't wrap yourself too much in it and be pulling quickly, you know, tag line. So like, there is a limit, like I'm sure you can maximize the limit, but even just wrapping that, I can only do that with gloves. You can't do that barehanded. What kind of force did we get, Kyle?
You just hit 42 pounds.
I can't do more than that fishing rod was able to do. And I had to do this to get the tag line across at CRG, so we can't even get that maximum best case scenario force in the field, only in the living room. So there's no reason to have 200-pound fishing test line if you can't even achieve that kind of strength. Because it's 0.75 millimeters thick, it's too thick to fit on your reel. It's pretty heavy. My drone was really feeling it at 200 meters. I would have felt a lot more comfortable flying my drone with something maybe 0.5 millimeters in diameter as fishing line.
And even with my hands pulling like this, I was only able to achieve 42 pounds of force, which is still more than our 60 pounds of fishing line can handle. However, if you need to put a lot of force on, and for some reason you had to wrap your arm around to pull, At that point, you should probably have smaller tagline that you're trying to pull over, because we were trying to pull over 6mm, and you might want to use a capstan winch, something that's open-ended, something that does all the muscling for you. But that requires batteries. Can't always use that, especially in a national park. So just to be safe, I'm not going to put my 60-pound test fishing line on this. I'll probably do a 100-pound test fishing line, or maybe like a 120-pound test fishing line, and eliminate this 200-pound, because I don't need this, but I do want something a bit smaller so I can get at least 300 meters of fishing line on here in order to do a full 300 meters safely without like running out of line or things breaking. Because technically, I can't drone more than 300 meters at one time. If it's bigger than that, you have to do it in stages. Rigging big high lines gets real expensive. So therefore, you shouldn't highline.